Hey friends, welcome back to another video. I do have to talk a little bit quietly. Archie is getting down for a nap now. Getting down? He's going down. He's not getting down for a nap. He's going down for a nap. He's just on the other side of this wall. You guys know I have these windows up here that just no soundproofing. So yeah, you guys might be able to hear his sound machine and I hope that's not bothersome, but that is the reality of filming these days. Anyway, today's video is a little bit different. I got this idea from someone in a question box, and that is if I could only am I okay? Am I okay? I think I need more coffee. The question was, if I could only keep 10 plants in my collection, what would that be? And my initial thought was like, obviously go for your favorites, but I was also thinking, if I were only to be able to have 10 plants, I feel like I would want a diverse collection. I wouldn't want just anthurium, just philodendron, just rhipsalis. I would want different kinds of plants that could satisfy different cravings that I have for plants, if that makes sense. And so, I mean, I would say that these are kind of my favorites, but it's more so just like what could keep me happy long term in terms of having a like well-rounded collection. So we're just gonna get started. The first one is one that is gonna be no surprise to anyone who has been on this channel for a long time, and that's gonna be my tortum. I actually moved it behind me and I love it there. I don't know why I didn't think about putting it there in the very beginning, but so glad that I made that call this week. It's really big and it's gonna be hard to fit in the frame here, and it's gonna be a hot mess. So I'm actually just gonna take you over there and just throw in some footage of the plant while I talk about it. I feel like I've said everything that I could say about why I love the tortum so much. And I actually saw a photo of this guy's tortum on a Facebook group, and he had it growing in the corner of what looked like a sunroom, and it was like growing on the wall, and it was humongous and it was so pretty, and it just reinforced why I love this plant so much. It's just the most whimsical but creepy plant, and it's so easy. It's one of the easiest plants for me. It's been confusing because I've had people over the years that are like, I cannot keep a tortum alive. I'm on my 6th tortum. It keeps rotting. It keeps like yellowing leaves. And honestly, like, I don't remember the last time I had a yellow leaf on this plant. To my recollection, I've always had to chop the leaves off. It's always been me that's had to like prune it off so that I can like repot it and like fit it where it needs to fit. It just never yellows leaves. It does get pests sometimes. It's had spider mites, and I think it even had thrips at one point, but like the damage was very, very minimal. Like you could barely see it, which is why it was hard for me to actually see that it had thrips. But yeah, it's just been a really low maintenance plant for me, and it's not even on like a proper pole. I think I did try and give it a pole before, but it just like grew away from it. It just hasn't really needed it, and I appreciate it so much for that, because I think one of the biggest, sorry, I need to start Archie's sleep timer because he just fell asleep. One of my biggest gripes with philodendron in the last few years is that it's just a hard grower. It's hard to size up without a pole, in my experience, in my opinion, in my conditions. It always usually gets stuck at like a certain juvenile leaf stage that just does nothing for me. And then there's like the EFN issues, there's the pest issues, there's it having super long internodes and it just outgrowing the poles way too fast. Philodendron maintenance is not for the weak. It requires a level of, I'm just gonna say, it requires a level of commitment and dedication that is just not required in the anthurium hobby. It's just not. You have to be able to commit to a certain amount of space in your house for these growing plants. You have to commit to the pest treatments, to the sticky leaves. In the beginning of the hobby, like I had been collecting plants since like way back when, but I really didn't get into like the deep you know, like world of aroids until maybe 2018, 2019. And I was super gung-ho because all of these plants were like super little. You just put them all in a little corner, put them on a top shelf and they're fine. But I think it wasn't until like 2022 or maybe even 2023 that I realized like, okay, once they've reached a certain point, now what? And not only that, it's like I experienced like a really big leaf, got to enjoy it for what it was, but because there's no variation in philodendron really, there's not many mutations that happen. I guess it's not as exciting as anthurium, and I think that's one reason why I really love anthurium. It's a different experience, a different growing experience. But with the tortum, I don't know what it is. It has just always kept my interest. It's always kept my intrigue. Every new leaf that comes out, I'm like, oh yeah, new leaf. And I love seeing it get bigger and bigger. It's one of those plants that I have just committed to, like whatever space it needs, I am going to accommodate it. And I'm thinking now that the inner nodes, now that the inner nodes are getting longer, and I do think it's because I've changed the light on it so much. It's growing a lot taller than it was previously, because before the nodes were just like stacked right on top of each other. But now the inner nodes are, did I say it again? The inner nodes are definitely elongating. I think I'm kind of getting to the point now where it might be ready for a chop, maybe in a few months. I might wait until it actually hits the ceiling first, but this is one of those plants that I would love to see as a big, huge, bushy plant. So the plan would be chop the top off, propagate it, replant it into the same pot so that it's just one giant tortum. But yeah, all that said, I love the tortum so much. It's just one of the philodendron that I don't ever see myself getting rid of it, no matter what. I think I've said that about quite a few philodendron before. I've probably said that about like the heterocraspidon. I've probably said that about the gloriosum, but the tortum, because of how much easier it is and low maintenance it is, and like the big leafy philodendron, it's just always gonna have a place in my apartment. So that's actually one of two philodendron that I would keep in my collection. I think the tortum would satisfy like the climbing plant itch, not even really the itch, but just the look that I'm going for. Just having a nice climbing philodendron that looks really nice in my space, that like doesn't require a big clunky pole. I have never tired of this plant since the day I got it. It's just always been one of those plants that I'm like, this is why I'm in the hobby. And it's really nice to have a plant like that that's kind of like your rock and kind of keeps you grounded in the hobby and keeps you excited. And yeah, I'm just really, really appreciative that it's grown so well for me, and that is why I'm always pushing the tortum agenda. I just feel like, I don't know, if other people could feel that way too, it would just make me so happy. So yeah, the tortum, my number one forever. If I could only have one plant in my collection, that would be it. So now to the second philodendron that I would keep. I'm contemplating whether I should bring it down or just throw in some more footage of it. Ugh. It needs to be watered anyway. I'm gonna have to scooch back because she's actually quite long right now. I haven't chopped it in. Actually, I did chop it pretty recently for Daryl. Daryl was in town, and so I wanted to give him some cuttings. So this is going to be my token trailing philodendron. The Hederaceum bar Hederaceum, aka the philodendron micans. I have hair in my back and it's been tickling me, and I haven't been able to find it. I don't know where it is, but I know it's there, and every time I move, it tickles me. Oh, I got it. Again, not a surprise on this channel if you're not new. I'm a micans girly through and through. I always will be. This is one that I will always, always, always have in my house. Ever since I discovered this plant in 2018, it's never not been in my house. I've always had a micans, through the good and bad, through the EFN, through the pests, through all of it. She has always been around. This is one of those plants that even if it goes downhill, I'm like fully invested in the comeback, in the rehab. I'm like, no, we're gonna see this through. You're staying, you have no choice. We are roommates for life. And yeah, this is me and this plant, we're like this. If you have not seen my micans care video, if you want to know how I grow the micans, I will link that in the description below. It's not a hard plant to care for, in my opinion. I feel like it's just one of those that requires a little bit more attention if you want to grow it really well. It does have its issues. It likes to do like a spotty thing. It's very pest prone. I wouldn't even doubt if this had spider mites right now. Is that a thrip? There's like marks. See, it's so funny that I would have bet that was a thrip, but it's not. It's just a mark on the leaf. But yeah, I can see some spots that look like it's from spider mites. I do try and give this a wash down every other week if I can, just to keep all of these little like sheaths off my floors. And it does produce extra floral nectaries, and it kind of burns through the leaves, and it's just part of it. I've learned to live with it. I'm not here trying to grow the perfect micans. I enjoy it for what it is from afar. It looks beautiful. Like, look at her. She is stunning. She is beauty. She is grace. She is Miss United States. Oh, we've got a yellow leaf here. I think of all of the trailing plants in the whole world, this is the winner. It's just got the perfect leaf color. It's velvety. It like scratches that itch of wanting, you know, like a nice velvety philodendron or a nice velvety plant in general. I would say it's generally low maintenance, maybe not as low maintenance as something like a pothos, but I find it like once you get the hang of it, once it establishes itself in whatever substrate you have it in, it's quite easy, and it just looks good everywhere. Like, look at her. And not only that, super easy to propagate, grows so freaking fast. Like, I just chopped this not too long ago, and it's already like pushing out so much growth. All of this down here is brand new. I probably chopped this like 2 weeks ago or something. But yeah, if I could pick one trailing plant in terms of like leafy trailing plant, super easy. This one is a no-brainer. So those are the two philodendron on my list. I think people might be surprised that the Dean McDowell is not on this list, and although it is one of my favorite plants, it's not on my list because one, it's a high maintenance plant, it is a spider mite magnet, it doesn't grow well if it's not given the care that it needs, and yeah, I don't know, I just think that if I could only have 10 plants in my collection, I would want ones that don't stress me out, that require very, very little care, and yeah, the Dean McDowell just unfortunately didn't make that cut. Moving on to the, should we do anthurium now, or should we do, yeah, let's just do the anthurium. Okay, let's get my first one. I have actually 4 that are on this list, and I think I'm gonna bring a table out so that you can, like, as I'm talking about them, you can kind of see why I've curated these 4. Prefacing, I think that in terms of choosing or curating an anthurium collection that only consists of less than 10 plants, again, I have only chosen 4 anthurium. I would want an anthurium that is strappy. I would want an anthurium that is dark. I would want an anthurium that has nice texture, and I would want an anthurium that has some kind of red in it. So, texture. It's gonna be the Ralph Lauren Fort Sherman Luxe for me every freaking time. Now, in terms of like what differentiates a Ralph Lauren Fort Sherman specifically from the Luxe or any other Luxe hybrid. So the Luxe obviously has like a more glossy leaf. I like the Luxe hybrids because they have like a more matte leaf, which is something that resonates with me a little bit more. I'm not a super fan of like the glossy leaf. The only really glossy anthurium that I really, really like is the Anthurium diabloense. That's pretty much it. But the reason why I love the Ralph Lauren Fort Sherman so much is because of the leaf shape. They don't all look like this, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of the Ralph Lauren Fort Sherman hybrids with Luxe have this super long leaf. And I love that about this hybrid. I don't feel like this is the experience that I've had with my other Lux hybrids, but this is also my favorite emergent leaf in terms of the color. When it first emerges, it is like this black color, like purple black, and then it kind of turns like blue and purple, like you just get like this rainbow of iridescent colors, and it's just incredible. Whereas with my other Lux hybrids that I've had, it's usually like a copper leaf or it's like a maroon leaf. This one is like a mermaid. It's just so beautiful, and I've just been in awe of this plant since day one. Like, look at how cool this is. It has like that really iconic Ralph Lauren and Fort Sherman sort of sunburst sinus, and it's just, yeah, the texture is just really, really, really nice. And I find it to be even less glossy than a lot of the Lux hybrids that I've seen in person. And so for that reason, this is gonna be my pick for a textural plant, because look at how good. It's just so yummy. The emergent leaf right now, in the stage that it's in, it reminds me very much of a windlingeri in terms of the color. And then even in the hardened off leaf, it's not like your typical green color. It almost has this like blue undertone to it, or blue iridescence to it, and it's grown so much better for me than any other Lux hybrid that I've had. Granted, it's not like as humongous as it should be in terms of like what my friends look like when I got it at the same sort of size as them, but I've always grown in ambient, or I've always grown this one in ambient, and it's just done so much better than my other Lux hybrids. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why this one made the cut for the textural anthurium. It just crosses off a lot of the boxes that I have in terms of what I look for in a nice anthurium. I said I needed one that's strappy, especially since I did not include the patriciae in my list of philodendron. So my craving for a strappy leaf will be satisfied with this. And this one is the pallidiflorum narrow. There were talks about, someone had brought up my plant specifically in a Facebook group, and there were kind of ramblings about whether it was actually like a dwarf plant, which I wouldn't be surprised about if it was, because even in the pally narrows that I've seen, they really haven't been quite as narrow as this one in the size that it is already. Like in the narrow pallies that I've seen, they're like a little bit wider, and it does possess sort of like dwarf-like qualities in a plant. So yeah, it might be a dwarf, I don't know, but either way, I just feel like this is like one of the one times in my life where I've hit the plant jackpot, because I ordered this from Tropicals as a pre-order, so I didn't get to pick it. This just was sent to me, and it was just by chance, and I just think it was fate that we ended up together. I recently repotted this. It was in soil before, like a tree fern soil, and I moved it to pond just because it dried out so fast, and I am finally seeing new roots. You're not going to be able to see it. There's a new little root peeking out right there, so kind of seems like the transition has gone pretty well. I did chop off quite a few leaves when I repotted this. I think I chopped off maybe 2 or 3 leaves before the repot, I chopped off about 2 or 3 leaves during the repot, and then probably another like 3 before I even repotted it. And I don't know, this is purely anecdotal. Sorry, I have a bug bite on my foot. I don't have like athlete's foot or anything, because I keep scratching my foot. It bit me right on the bottom of my foot, and it's so itchy. Sorry. So when I am repotting, or especially transitioning, and it's like a pretty stressful process for the plant, I find that if you can have less leaves on it, it can focus more on root growth rather than trying to sustain the leaves that it has on it, especially since I chopped the stem, and I chopped off quite a bit of roots, and yeah, just kind of went through a little bit of shock, but it's pushing out a new leaf now, new roots, and yeah, I think this is one successful repot, or one successful transplant. I don't see any rotting roots. I see maybe a few of like the secondary roots kind of going a little bit brown, but otherwise everything looks really good. So I am happy. These leaves have not changed at all. They're not getting wrinkly, they're not yellowing. All seems to be going really well. Anyway, yeah, this is just one that I think I would need to have in my collection because I love one for the palli specifically. The reason why I think that it differs from the Wendlingeri and the vitarifolium is that it has this really, really shiny, velvety, shimmery leaf that you don't get with those plants. And it has a texture to it that's really nice too. I don't know if you guys have seen some like really mature pallidiflorum, but sometimes they can almost resemble like the venation of a Verroquianum. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I had one palli leaf grow one time where I was like, or no, maybe it was Alice. It was one of Alice's pallies. I'm like, this could pass as like a super narrow Verroquianum. And I don't know, I just think it's a really, really cool plant. Ever since I discovered this, I've always been obsessed with it. And now that I have a really, really narrow version, this is like my pride and joy. So of course I had to include her on my top 10, my MySpace top 10. Can you see? I just want you guys to be able to kind of see why, like see them together. Like, oh yeah, that's a good little curation of anthurium. The next one is one that I am just so stoked about. I'm gonna move a little bit closer. It is in my Jomo Studio pot. If you guys didn't watch my Jomo Studio video, Jomo Studio pot unboxing video, I will link that in the description. These pots are so good. I want so many more. I love them. I'm obsessed with them. They're so pretty, so easy to use. They're so fun. I like that they're really light, and yeah, just obsessed, obsessed. So please follow Jomo, watch that video if you've been looking for some new pots. They do ship to the US, but you have to shop through their Etsy site. Okay, anyway, next plant. The hoffmanii blood moon. I got this one from my friend Dania. She just so graciously was like, I'm gonna send it to you and Alice. So this one actually grows really fast, and I think it's probably gonna be ready for a chop like maybe in a month or two. I have been dying to get a cutting to Alice, and honestly, when we do stuff like this, we usually give each other the bottom cutting, but I think I'm gonna give her the top because she is likely gonna grow this in her greenhouse, and so it will likely reach flowering size a lot sooner than I can grow it in ambient, and so she'll be able to hybridize it or self it or do whatever. So I think once this is ready for a chop, I'm going to take the bottom and I'll give her the top. But anyway, the hoffmanii blood moon, this came out of Australia, and I just think that this is the most oh my gosh, a bird almost flew into my balcony. I think this is the perfect dark leaf anthurium. It just has everything that I love about a dark anthurium. There's no other plant that comes close to this one. I love the leaf shape. It's like nice and round. It has really muted venation. I'm gonna throw in some other pictures of a blood moon so you can kind of get an idea of why I think this is like the best sort of dark leaf anthurium. So the leaf shape, so beautiful. I like the venation. It makes it look really, really puffy. I love obviously the red sinus. That's what it is known for. And it's just beautiful. The leaf color it's like that perfect sort of greenish, bluish. I think for me, when it comes to anthurium, I think I tend to like the ones that have more of a blue or even like gray undertone. And this one definitely has like that bluish undertone to it that makes it look so dark and just delicious. So yeah, obviously this was an easy choice when I knew that I had to pick like a dark one. I think a second runner-up would have maybe been my Fort Sherman Ralphlinum. Fort Sherman Ralphlinum. That one is another one that I really, really like. Or maybe even my Carla Bevep. I do like the leaf color of that as well. I think it has a really beautiful, it has beautiful venation, but I can still remember the first day that I saw this on Instagram. I thought that it was photoshopped. I was like, man, they're getting good or maybe it's AI. No, I think when I first saw it, like AI really wasn't around yet. But yeah, I thought that it was at least heavily photoshopped. And then when I realized it wasn't, I was like, oh no. I fear I'm not gonna sleep until I have this plant. I really did not think that it would be happening this year, honestly. I thought that I was gonna have to finagle some kind of trade with someone from Australia and somehow get it to the States and just this whole thing, but you have angels like Dania that just make all your wishes come true. Technically for this last anthurium, I'm cheating, but I can't choose between the two. So we're just gonna pretend they are one. So, like I mentioned, in a curated collection, I would want one that has red. And so the forgetii red crystal was one that I immediately thought of. This one specifically I really like because it's just such an easy grower for me, even in ambient. It's been so low maintenance. It hasn't really had a lot of trouble. It's had pests before, but just kind of keeps on trucking. And it's desperately needed a repot for a while. And she's like, yeah, whatever, you know, we're fine. We're kicking it. This is did I say that it's a forgetii red crystal? I'm actually even surprised that the mother plant was a forgetii. Like, where is she? Where did the mother go? It's kind of like when, you know, someone has a baby and it looks just like the dad, and you're like, yeah, so I held you for 9 months, and you look like the guy that it took 2 seconds to help make this baby. Anyway, yeah, this one, no brainer, love it so much. I love the hardened off leaf. I love the venation on it. I love that it keeps the red for a very, very long time. Like, even in the oldest leaves, you can still see a lot of that red in the venation. It does fade quite a bit, but still very, very apparent, very obvious. And it just has a really nice color. It's like, it kind of has the bluish undertones, but it definitely leans more toward green, but almost kind of purple, like a greenish purple color. Obviously obsessed with this one, but I couldn't choose between the two because this one that I got from Dania is just supreme. Like, this is a top tier red crystal. So this one is her Tezula red crystallinum self. I'm so glad that it has an emergent leaf while I'm filming this video because look at that. It is wild. I've seen the emergent on Alice's and it's just as like vibrant, and Dania said that she's like hoarding these because why wouldn't you? Dude, if I made this, I would have like 5 million of them in my house. Like, that is unreal to me. It's crazy red. I've never seen such like a reddish magenta on a emergent red crystal before. I own 2 other red crystals. I think one is from NSE and one is Woohoo, and it doesn't even compare. It does not even come close to this emergent color. And even the hardened off leaves, like, they're so beautiful. It has kind of like a dusty green color, kind of reminds me a little bit of like the SKG silver, but not quite. I do think it's growing conditions though. Like, this one has like a grayish leaf. This one was grown under different lighting, and so it's a little bit more green, but like, oh, it's just so good. But I had to choose this one because of the emergent color. Like, the emergent color on this one doesn't even touch the vibrance of this one. But I just think that having a plant like this is just, you know, it's a must. It is a must. This one makes me feel like I'm a good anthurium grower. I wish all my anthurium were this easy to grow. I think I'd have a much better time, but I'm getting there slowly but surely. It's been a journey. That is the anthurium collection. I felt like it was a good little assortment. I would get kind of my dopamine hits of what I look for in anthurium growing in all of these, and I don't really need anything else, to be honest. You know, this plant was a massive underdog when I first got it. I will admit, I got this columnea arguta AF from my friend over at Floriculture. If you guys have not seen Floriculture, if you are local to Sacramento or you even live within like 2 hours of Sac, it is worth the drive. I promise you, even if you don't buy anything, which would surprise me if you didn't, just being able to look at it, and he lets you into the back room where you can look at like his mother plants and what he's growing. It's just worth the experience. Yeah, I got this from Floriculture, and when I went there, he had just put together like a bunch of little clippings for me, and this was one of them. And I was like, at first it was really little, like he just gave me this tiny little thing, and I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty cute, it's pretty nice. But it wasn't until it really started growing nice and big that I was like, is this the best plant I have ever come across in my life? And he kept saying, you're gonna love it, this is like so you. And I was like, yeah, it's cute. It didn't blow my mind at first, but now I'm like, I get it, I understand what you're talking about. And just the way, look at it, oh my gosh. There's something that I love so much about a plant that can like sort of fall in your hand this way. Not only that, it's velvety and it's soft and it's dainty and whimsical, and it's just everything that I love about a trailing plant. And it has like a very like micro shimmer to it, especially when the sun hits it. Oh, I think I might have taken a photo of it in the sun, but look at all of this new growth. It is growing so wildly. There is new growth everywhere, and I'm here for it because I was actually thinking about a month ago, I was like, when I go back to SAC, I'm getting more of this. I want more cutting so I can fill it in, but I don't even think I need it anymore because it's just growing at like every stem. It's just wild. But yeah, look at how fun it is. It's movement, and it just has such a nice drape to it. It just all faces the same way, and this is a must, you guys. I'm telling you, if you like trailing plants, if you like the micans, if you like strings of things, if you like plants, then this is for you. I guarantee it. Even if you're not like into trailing plants like this, just try it. If you can find one, just get a little cutting, just try it out. Oh my gosh, my sisters, they will not leave me alone. My phone is just going off, and it is making me lose my train of thought. Yeah, obviously had to choose this one for one of my trailing plants, because what is a plant collection if you don't have a trailer? So, and I know that I have the micans, but I wouldn't be satisfied with just that. Like, you gotta have like one of the weirdo trailers. This is where I'm gonna cheat again, okay? There's no rules to this. I guess there were rules, but I'm not gonna follow them. So it was a toss-up between this plant and another plant, and so I just decided, you know what, let's just do both of them. So this is his quadrangularis. You guys know I'm always pushing this agenda onto you guys because why not? It's just such a cool plant. I don't understand how someone can look at this plant and think they don't need it. I know it looks kind of wild, but hear me out, okay? It is so much fun to grow. They grow upward, they grow like spikes, they grow like my postpartum hairs, and then they eventually drape down. And it's just so cool. It's very, very rigid, very, very firm. They grow these little leaves on them. Look at how cute, these little grape leaves. And they've even got the little vines that will latch onto everything in its path if you're not careful. That's probably the one drawback of this. If you're gonna have it like on a communal shelf, it will start wrapping around everything. Sometimes I just chop them off when I see it. This little piece broke off and it rooted. Do you guys remember when I showed you guys this in another video? I think it was a week of. Hello? It was in a week of, I broke off this little piece. I just stuck it back in the soil and now it's rooted. So yeah, very easy to root as well. I feel like a collection is not really a collection if you don't have at least like one kind of like out there, very strange plant. And yeah, this one I think checks those boxes, and it's like a really cool sort of like artistic piece if you have this on a shelf. And I don't know, there's just something so fun about, like, it kind of looks like a vegetable in a way, you know? Like, look at this. Look how funny this is. So yeah, this is one where like if people come over, I'm like, do you want a cissus quadrangularis? And they're like, what is a cissus quadrangularis? And then I show it to them and they're like, oh yeah, sure. Am I missing something? Like, do I have like a lens on? Is this not as cool of a plant as I am giving it credit for? Like, am I overhyping this? Be real with me. I just think it's so freaking cool, and I feel like you don't really understand how cool it is until you see it in person. That's just my opinion. But let me show you the other one that they were like neck and neck. So I'm gonna put this back. It's been a while since I showed this big gal. This is my rhipsalis paradoxa. But I love a good trailing plant, and this one has, again, such a nice, what's the word I'm thinking of? Drape to it. It just feels so nice because I like plants for the texture. I like plants for the way they feel in your hands. And this one is just, it's chef's kiss. It's so, so good. This is not one that I really push onto people too much because the care for it is a little bit more, I would say, difficult than something like the cissus or the micans or whatever. But once you kind of get it down, once it gets established, it's pretty easy. I think the only time things get a little bit dicey is if you repot it, which is why I have not repotted it yet out of the nursery soil that's in. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it in here for as long as it'll have it. I'm not even gonna touch it, and it's actually pushing out so much new growth right now. So I'm very happy about that. But like, how could you not love the paradoxa? I think that it's probably my favorite rhipsalis. I do have quite a big rhipsalis collection now, but I still think that no matter how many I've added to my collection, this one remains as my top. I had to, of course, choose at least one monstera. I don't think that any plant collection is complete if you don't have a monstera. That's just how I've always been. I'm always gonna be a monstera girly. And I will choose a green monstera over any variegated monstera anytime. I don't care which monstera we're talking about. I don't care how beautiful the variegation is. The green one will always get me every single time. So this is my monstera sierrana. I got this one last year and it has grown so beautifully for me. I just could not ask for more. It's such a fast grower. It's very, very easy to grow. I thought this was gonna be way more difficult, but it's been kind of a dream. And so I have gotten rid of, well, I chopped up my elbow. You guys will know if you watched my video last week. I chopped up my elbow, and then I got rid of my aurea. I got rid of all of my like Adansonii. I got rid of my esqueleto. I no longer have an esqueleto. Yeah, I've gotten rid of pretty much every single monstera that I used to own. And I think going forward, I am only gonna have this one. I do still have my Burle Marx's Flame, but I'm talking more of like this kind of monstera, not like that. I don't think I'm ever gonna, as long as I have this plant, I don't think I ever need another monstera in this house because she checks all the boxes. She's perfect for me. We are soulmates. This has always been one of my favorites, especially, well, this and like the Brazilian common form. I will say if the right Brazilian common form entered my life, I might not be able to say no, especially if later down the line, maybe 50, 60 years from now, I can eventually own a house and I have more space to keep plants. Yeah, I would definitely probably have more than one monstera, but this is enough for me. She fills that void in my heart, and yeah, she's perfection. So there's that, and my child is awake. So I'm gonna try and wrap this up now so that I can just be on mom duty. So this is one that I wanted to mention. Maybe not specifically a yucca, but I think that a good, like, well-rounded houseplant collection should always have a minimum of one tree-like plant. The yucca is really great. I feel like a lot of people overlook how cool these plants are, and I'm so glad that I influenced my mom and my sister to get a yucca because they both now have yuccas and they're so much fun. I love how they all can take on like a really, really cool shape. If you guys want to see some really cool like tree-like houseplants. Arium Botanicals is a really good account to follow. There's a shop in Portland, and he brings in just the most beautiful specimens all the time to the shop. I'm so jealous. But yeah, the yucca is a really good plant to have. I would say another really fun one is like the Dracaena marginata. There's a few different kinds of Dracaena marginatas. I like the one, I don't know exactly what kind it is, but it's not the ones that have like the sort of soft hanging leaves. They have sort of the stiffer spiky leaves. I feel like it's harder to find that variety around. I've seen a lot floating around in the LA area though, like when I check like Marketplace. I do it often just to see what's around. But yeah, I really like the Dracaena marginata. There's the Dracaena reflexa, that one's really fun too. Even a rubber tree, like a Ficus elastica. I love a good fiddle leaf fig. I will always love the fiddle leaf fig, but I can't care for it. I can't grow it indoors. It hates me, but if you can grow it and you can like have it like branch out and be like a nice big tree, they're so beautiful. But I just thought that was an honorable mention just to have as like a little extra. You know, you can have all the anthurium and trailing plants and whatever, but I feel like if your house doesn't have a tree, it's not quite complete. So yeah. Anyway, that is gonna be it. I am back on mom duty. My child is rolling around like a beach ball, so I'm gonna get out of here. I would love to know what your top 10 would be, and yeah. I'm very sorry for cheating, but sometimes you just gotta break the rules. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one.